Long before the events of this story, the world had already seen its share of wars, heroes, and the rise and fall of great powers. Sauron, once the lieutenant of Morgoth, had been defeated but not destroyed. Galadriel, an elf of great wisdom and power, was haunted by the loss of her brother, who perished while hunting Sauron. This personal grief, intertwined with her sense of duty to protect Middle-earth, drove her to continue the pursuit, even when others believed the threat had passed. The elves, beings of immense grace and longevity, were facing a dire situation. Their light was fading, and with it, their connection to the world. Celebrimbor, a master smith, sought a way to counter this decline. Inspired by the ancient craft of the dwarves and his own people's knowledge, he began to forge 3 powerful rings. These rings were meant to preserve the beauty and essence of the elves, ensuring their survival in a world that was increasingly hostile to their kind. However, the creation of these rings was not without risk. Unbeknownst to Celebrimbor, Sauron had returned, and he was already weaving a new plan to dominate Middle-earth. This time, he sought control not just through sheer force, but through deception and the manipulation of the very souls of those who opposed him. This Season 2, Episode 1. It is showing here how Sauron is taking a new order to the Orc, leaving us alone in disgrace. But today a new age begins under me. Your new master, Sauron. And with a new age, I bring a new vision. A path to unconditional conquest. For I seek a new kind of power. Not off the flesh, but over flesh. Power of the unseen world. One we shall use to enslave the peoples of Middle-earth. To our very will. Many orcs will die. But out of the chaos, we will forge a new and perfect order. No longer will we be hunted as the demons who broke Middle-earth, but rather worship as the saviors, who finally healed it by bringing its peoples together, to rule them all as one. Doubt me at your peril. You have nowhere else to turn. The Valor will never forgive you. Elves will never accept you, men. Men will never look upon you with anything but horror and disgust, a corrupted and ignoble race, worthy only to be hunted and slaughtered. But unfortunate, he was betrayed during the coronation and killed. However, he managed to resurrect himself and assume another form, proving that Sauron is immortal and he will come back to take vengeance for those who opposed him. The blood of Sauron is dropping and flowing onto the ground, like it has life on its own and knows where it is going. After some times, it is forming like a blob of worms and eating rats and insects, until it finds a way out of the cave. It went through the snowy mountain cliff and managed itself to go the mountainside road where he is waiting for his prey, until he managed to assume a new human form and new identity, where in this Season 2, Episode 1, it was clearly explained how Sauron became Halbrand, a fake long-lost king of Southlands, after consuming the flesh of various beings. As Halbrand was walking on his way, he met this old man along with some people who were moving away from Southlands because of chaos caused by the attack to the orcs. The pendant worn by the old man caught an attention by Halbrand and explained to him that it has belonged to a royal family of Southlands was once he served. So Halbrand went with them. Unfortunately, their quest by ship weren't successful. They encountered a huge sea monster. Ong broke their ship in the middle of the deep blue sea, and Halbrand took advantage of stealing the royal pendant from the old man. For he knows that old man would not survive that time, until he meet Galadriel, as we remember, how Halbrand and Galadriel meet each other on Season 1. So from that royal pendant, Galadriel was deceived of thinking he was the lost king of Southland. In the current scene, Commander Galadriel is chasing Elrond. She was after with the finished 3 rings held by Elrond. Elrond is a close friend of Galadriel and herald of High King Gil-Galad. But this time Elrond would not dare to test the virtue of the rings for the reason it was designed by. The hands of Sauron for the fear that these rings it will make the situations more worse. So rather have to destroy it. But Elrond managed to escape, and went to Valinor and asked Master Círdan, the most respected wise elf in Valinor, to destroy the rings. Unexpectedly, Master Círdan came to Lindon during the farewell ceremony, and asked them to wear the other 2 rings, and that they can test the magic of the 3 rings once it will be worn by the 3 chosen bearers. The rings had its hypnotic powers towards its chosen bearers. However, the effect saved the whole community of the elves by restoring the dying golden tree back to life again as it was. Elrond walked away after witnessing the magical effect of the 3 rings. But deep inside, he is still thinking that wearing those rings is the same as collaborating the plan of Sauron. The 3 Elven Rings' purpose is to heal and preserve, and although the series shows Sauron disguised as Halbrand, suggesting to Celebrimbor to create a mithril alloy in order to amplify the Dwarvenor's properties, he didn't take part in the actual forging of the 3, as it only happened after Galadriel discovered his true identity as Sauron, which is in line with Tolkien's lore. Galadriel claims Nenya, the Ring of Water, after the ring falls and bounces in her direction in Lindon. It carries an adamant gemstone, and is the only one confirmed by Tolkien to have been made out of mithril. At the time it was made, the elves of a region and the dwarves of Khazad-dûm were on good terms, which allowed Celebrimbor to make use of the special ore. Despite its silver coloring, its element is actually water. Narya, the Ring of Fire. The properties give its bearer resistance to the weariness of time, as well as the power to inspire others to resist tyranny, domination, and despair. In the Rings of Power, Círdan claims the ring after failing to cast it into the sea. In the books, however, it's given to him by Gil-Galad. Círdan is regarded as one of the wisest elves in Middle-earth, which justifies the High King's choice. Vilya, the Ring of Air, despite its blue color. It carries a gem of sapphire and is made of gold. Although in the Rings of Power, it's also implied there is a little mithril alloy in its composition. It is regarded as the most powerful of the 3 rings, although its powers are not specified. The ring does have specific effects associated with healing and preserving. It is worn by High King Gil-Galad. The other side of the story, Halbrand was captured as a prisoner of the orcs. Adar, the new Lord of the Orcs, believes that Sauron is not dead. One day he will come back to redeem them and get back what was lost from him. This will terrify him every single day. Halbrand, as known as the King of Southland, wants to negotiate with him, but Lord Adar rejected it. He was chained up. Most of the captives are forced to join their troops by putting a mark through hot burning stamp on their necks and leaving ugly demonic marks on their skin. Each of them should take an oath to surrender their loyalty and services to Lord Adar only. Otherwise, they will be killed instantly if they hesitate. Adar was so restless of knowing from the words of King Halbrand that Sauron is really alive and assume a new form. So he take it seriously, the negotiation of Halbrand. He told Adar that he has the trust of the elves so he can go there and find Sauron and that you can marshal your legion and kill him. But Lord Adar asked Halbrand to take an oath and swear to him that he will serve him for eternity. So he needs to bow down and his face under his feet and utter those words. In my opinion, what would be the reaction of Adar if he knows that Sauron is in the form of Halbrand? I swear that I will take my words seriously and serve for eternity. Meanwhile, in the desert, this tall, bearded guy, a friend of Nori, are walking together. But unknowingly, there is someone who keeps stalking on them. Maybe the troop of Dark Wizard? We will find it out. While walking, this Nori asking the stranger man what bothered him. So the stranger told Nori that he has a dream last night about this magical staff elevating from the ground. And it seems like that it giving him a message. When he holds the staff, suddenly visions keep flashing on his mind. He was a bit puzzled. What does it mean? In Season 1, this stranger was a mysterious man who fell out of the sky. He had no memory about his own life or identity. He barely talked, and he ended up traveling with Nori towards the direction of the constellation of the stars. However, later, it was revealed that he's an Istar or Istari, or a wizard. This guy was being accused as the reincarnation of Sauron the DarkLord, but actually he was sent in the Middle-earth to be on the good side. So the Dark Wizard of the West was trying to get rid of him for the fear that he may discover his true magical potential soon. It could be a treat on their evil plan. While walking, they noticed that someone was following them. So they make a trap, but fortunately, she was the best friend of Nori named Poppy. They are delighted with her presence and talk a lot of great things.
How's everyone at home? About the same.
In the other side, the king asked his messenger to send this letter to Celebrimbor. He was an elven smith who was manipulated into forging the rings of power with Halbrand, to inform him that he should keep away Halbrand, because he is Sauron who pretending to be Halbrand. So the king told his messenger to trust no one on his journey. Halbrand has just arrived in the realm of Origin, and the Lady Elf told Celebrimbor that there is a messenger from Southland who want to negotiate with you. He told me that he knows you and you worked with him before. So Halbrand just waiting on the entrance area and looking up with them at the tower. This time Celebrimbor was so hesitant to accept Halbrand. So do you think Celebrimbor has knows the real identity of Halbrand? What do you think? Please leave the comments below. So we'll see you on my next recap on Season 2, Episode 2. Please support my channel by liking and subscribing. Thank you.